Everybody, this is a meeting of the Permanent Municipal Building Committee for August 24th, 2022. We'll go over our agenda for tonight. The first thing is the warrant, which is a very short warrant. It's $2,844 for Vertex Corporation.
Is that for the library or where?
It's the library.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the labor associated with the solar project.
Solar,
that's
right.
at the library. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. We have my son's dog here and he's barking at something. I need a motion on that.
Bob, I'll make a motion to approve that, Brian Pasquale.
All right, Brian.
I'll second it. Bartlett Harvey.
Seconded by Bartlett. Let me. All right, Bartlett.
Yes, I'm in favor. Yes.
Okay,
Aye.
Brian,
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Stacy,
Stacy Damaris, yes.
what's Steve Moore doing here?
I know.
I was able to get out of my meeting early.
Okay. Yes, no for you? Yes, for the warrant?
That would be a yes.
Okay, and yes for myself. The next on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes for July 27, 2022. Everybody get a chance to read them over?
Yeah.
Motion,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Bartlett's motion. Need a second?
Steve Moore, second.
Steve seconded. Bartlett, vote.
Bartlett, yes.
Stacy,
Stacy, yes.
Steve,
Steve, yes.
Brian,
Brian, yes.
and Bob Rama, yes. Steve, the Shaker Lane feasibility study, that's on the,
On the agenda.
yes.
Rich Crowley's working with Steve Mark. I know Steve Mark was on vacation last week, so I need to round back on that. But we do need to advertise, I believe, for an OPM. And then that needs to get into Central Register, I think, October at the latest. But, MSBA is a different animal, so there's a different set of rules. And Rich, I'll see Rich on Friday, so I'll talk to him about that.
All right, put that in the back burner until next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Library update, Brian?
Yeah. From the original contract at the library, we're pretty much wrapped up. We have another week and a half left on the warranty. And if there was a better time to have some elevator problems, this week was it while it's still under warranty. So we had a technician out there today in order to do some issues on a hydraulic issue that we had underneath the cab. I haven't had an update on if it's completely repaired and all set, but I know that we do have an inspection for the 2nd of September. We've wrapped up most of our other warranty issues at this point. I did have a conversation yesterday with the contractor for the solar panels. They should be all set for in the next 2 to 3 weeks, the delivery being on site. So we'll have the installation. They said that's going to be a 3 to 5 day installation to be turned on. We'll have the commissioning agent on site to take care of that. There's also been the local electrician's been on site who's going to take care of the EV charging station that's going to be installed next to the library. We're going to make sure that there's provisions in the event that they want to add on and have a few more parking spaces next to the library to have a few more spots. And then, the only other remaining item is the landscaping and some of the growth that we've had on the hills and how it's not growing in well. I've had discussions with not only the contractor but the landscape architect. We're keeping our eye on that to make sure if we need to add some stuff in the growing season, which is going to be in the next few weeks.
Brian, I was out there the other day and I was looking not only at the bareness of the slope, but the pitch of the slope.
Yep.
And how, even if we had a good growth of grass out there, mowing that, the maintenance of that is going to be kind of difficult. Would it be worth looking into, say, like a crown vetch?
Yep.
Ground
So
cover?
on the far side of the library, on the far side of the parking lot is is actually a wildflower mix, which is supposed to kind of be like a wildflower field that they say takes a few growing seasons in order to establish. On the sledding hill, that might be a good idea for what you're talking about for sure.
Well, I wouldn't want to put it over on the sledding hill. That would kind of impede the sledding.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's so much fun going down to the lower level in the library and seeing the kids slide down the hill.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Then I can speak with the landscape architect about that.
Yeah. So it was just a thought while I was out there.
I haven't been out there for a couple of weeks, but the last time I was there, it was really bare and, sand and gravel, not much dirt.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's
Unfortunately, the mix that was picked and approved by the conservation, the feedback that I got from the manufacturer and from the contractor was that they had a lot of fears about the growth of this and that it was going to take a long time.
Yeah.
And so if we want to put something else on, we can certainly set that meeting up. It's probably going to have to be with Amy from conservation to make sure that we're getting the right stuff to put down on there, because we've added some clover on top of it that was approved by conservation that we bought from the same manufacturer. We're still just not getting the same the results that we want at this point.
Yeah.
Brian, are we going to bother doing anything with the hill that goes up to the tennis courts, where that is going to be taken out of there anyway?
At this point right now, knowing what I do know with our schedule with the senior center, we might not even get a full grow season by the time we get equipment on site. So I'll speak with Amy again on that one. Maybe we want to put something as temporary, something fast growing just for the spring season. And then, ultimately, optimistically, we want to be in construction by the summer of next year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll circle back on that one with Amy and the contractor. So
All right. Any other questions on the library?
No.
Police station update, that's all closed out. Brian, do we ever get George to get down and fill that hole? Or
I've asked George. I didn't get a response I did get a text message from the chief last week regarding a window that he felt was being bowed in one of his administrator's offices. I asked him to send me a picture. I haven't received that yet. And when I did, I wanted to see if George would go down there to take a look at what's going on, whether or not the insulation or whether we're getting moisture around that individual window, and we can address it under a warranty period. But at this point, yeah, everything on the police station is closed out and paid at this point.
you want to keep that on the agenda, though? Keep it active on the agenda?
Yeah, let's keep it on for one more time, and I'll take care of that in the next week. I'll reach out to George and the chief.
Okay. High school roof, Brian, anything new on that, or are we still in limbo?
So nothing significant, Bob. We did have the designer, the architect came out last week with the rep from the snow melt manufacturer that we want to use. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that meeting, but they met with Steve Mark. So I just have to circle back with Steve and make sure he was satisfied with everything that they presented. And that was really the last thing to close the loop on finalizing the contract documents, which are pretty much ready to go for when we want to put that out to bid, which will be later this fall.
Great.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, sir.
we had a conversation following the last meeting, Brian, about possibly purchasing some materials and putting them in storage containers there so that you can proceed at your leisure. Just wanted to bring that up as something that Bob had thought might be a good idea or not.
As far as purchasing roofing material?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, I think that would be, that's not something I've explored at this point. I think we would be looking to go out to bid for a contractor in the fall with the hopes that that gives us plenty of time to get the material by June. You know, I think what you're talking about, we'd be pre-purchasing material, and I don't know that we'd want to go that route. You know, purchasing material before we have a contractor on board. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, sir. It was more of once you have that all firmed up. I know that lead times are now going from 12 days to 12 weeks to beyond in some building materials. So that's the only reason I was looking at a possibility that once you've got your contractor on board, you might want to be able to stockpile some of that material so that you literally have it on site for you when you're ready to go.
Yep. Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
thank you.
Once we get a contractor on board, that's something we can discuss with them. If they don't have the storage capability for it, then something we could definitely look at.
All right. The senior center update.
Yep.
Brian?
I can give you a quick update on that. We've had some good progress. We sent out our RFQ. I think the last time we spoke, I talked about getting our acceptance from the Inspector General to go with the CM at risk delivery method. So we're all set with that. We've sent out our RFQ. We put that out into the central register. And at this point right now, we've had decent feedback. I've sent out the RFQ to about 7 firms right now, some of which are the online firms that maybe aren't going to present a proposal. But we have four to five firms, some of the normal players that were ready to go, including the CM that did the library. And they're very eager for this job. So it was, I'm pretty excited for the feedback. I don't think I need to be sending out any addendum. I haven't heard many questions. But if I do, I will send that out by the end of the week. They're due on the 1st of September. LLB, the architect, they're continuing into design development at this point. And we will, once we get the CM on board, we will be working on their estimate, reconciling their estimate, making sure that we're confident in that number before we proceed into construction documents. The last thing that I think, Bob, you and I had talked about last time was that the selection committee at the meeting that I was not present at, I believe is going to be consisting of 1 member of Vertex, who will probably be myself, 1 member of LLB, and 2 members, 1 member of the Pmbc, which was Bob, and then Anthony Ansaldi, the town administrator. I did have a meeting with the working group for the senior center last week, and it was suggested that the senior center director to be part of that selection committee as well, that would review the RFQs and have a voting voice in the selection of the CM.
I have a motion ready for that.
Yeah, I think we wanted to, since we're going through the Pmbc for this, it was suggested that we bring that up today to make sure that the Pmbc was okay, that we include Liz as part of a voting member of the selection committee through this. So what it would mean is that she would get one of the packages of the RFQ. We would whittle that down to the members that we feel have been qualified to move on to the next stage. They will get the RFP, and that is a 2-stage process where they will get, they will submit a technical proposal and a price proposal, in which we will go through all of that, and she will be part of the voting body on that. So I didn't want to step in front of you, Bob, but that was kind of what we talked about, and
Oh, that's fine.
that you guys wanted to discuss. So
As we discussed in the meeting, that I want to make a motion that we bring Liz Tritriak onto the selection committee for the selection of a CM at risk. That's it.
Steve Moore seconds.
All right. Bartlett, vote.
Bartlett, yes, in favor.
Steve is yes. Stacy?
Stacy is yes.
Brian Pasquale?
Brian, yes.
Mike?
Mike Scaduto, yes.
And Bob Rama, yes.
good. Thank you. So I'll provide a better update at the next meeting, we will have all of our RFQs in at this point. We will start our evaluation process. And then at the next meeting, we'll let you know who we're sending the RFPs out, which will probably be whittled down between 3 to 5 CMs. That will give us a more detailed process about their breakdown and their analysis on how they're going to do this project. And then we'll go from there. So
Brian, will you help us out with the scoring sheet?
yeah, I'll send out an evaluation tablet for everybody
Yep.
to go through, so that we're all apples to apples, to make sure that we're all grading on the same page. I don't want me to evaluate somebody more importantly about something else than other people. So I'm going to make sure everyone's on the same score sheet. For example, on the library, we gave out the evaluation sheet, and mine was completely opposite than everybody else's, and we ended up going with the CM that the selection committee picked, and it was much positive, and it wasn't who I had thought of at the first time. So,
All right, one other question on the house next door, that's already been purchased, right?
that's correct. Yes.
We still got somebody living there?
I don't know that.
We've been on the tennis courts at night and also in the morning, and there's a truck parked there and people going in and out of the house.
Really good, great question. So, the last meeting I had with the town administrator and town council is that the house, it had been closed on, and it was in the process of being closed on. So I would have thought by now it is now the town's property. I can follow up with town council to make sure that the town has the keys.
If there's somebody there, maybe we can rent it until we're ready to
Yeah.
do what we got to do.
Right.
Well, yeah, that may be what's happening. I mean, it could be the previous owner is renting it until he can find another property. I mean, that's what happened when that's what I did in Pennsylvania. So
Yeah. Good question. I'll find that out.
Yeah. If he's living there, we want to make sure he's paying the bills and he should be paying the rent too.
Exactly. I got you.
well,
Great.
you know him, Bob, from previous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John, I can't think of his last name. Tomasino.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I saw people there, but I couldn't tell who it was.
Yeah.
Member input. Steve
I'm good.
Bartlett?
I have a question. I don't know if this is the correct forum to bring it forward, but some of the other municipalities in the state have passed fossil-free, the idea of making buildings fossil-free in the future. And I was wondering if this is a committee that wanted to discuss that idea for Littleton, and if this is the right place to bring that idea forward.
So this is what I would. My response to that, Harvey, is we don't make policy, we implement policy.
Yep.
So I think it's a great idea, but I think it needs to be in another venue.
Sustainability.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Brian Pasquale?
I'm all set. Thank you, Bob.
Mike?
I'm good. Sorry I was late.
I'm all set too. Steve, the next meeting is going to be the 14th of September. That's the
Second Wednesday. Yep.
yeah. We got it on the sheet here is the September 7th, but it'll be the 14th.
Okay. My error.
So.
Yep.
But I would have preferred the 7th because I won't be available on the 14th or the 28th because I'm having cataract surgery those days.
Oh boy.
Begging out on us.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I can go into the LCTV later and get it and do it.
Motion to adjourn?
So move, Steve.
Bartlett?
Second, or yeah, I'm in favor.
Okay. Mike?
Yes, Mike Scaduto.
Brian,
Brian Pasquale, yes.
the quiet one, Stacy,
Stacy, yes.
Bob Roma, yes. Next meeting, the 14th of September.
Okay.